Hey y'all, today is all about that personal monthly budget breakdown, so stay tuned. If we've never met before, I am Monique Vassell, and here on this channel, I empower individuals like you on how to acquire financial health, as well as give out tools and tips on how to live the lifestyle in which you desire. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're a returning fan, make yourself comfortable and let's do this. So what's up, my beautiful people? Today, we're talking about breaking down our personal monthly budget. And we're gonna do that using Dave Ramsey's budget breakdown percentages. Now, if you're not familiar with who Dave Ramsey is, he is a financial/business author. He's also a radio host as well as financial advisor. Now, even though I don't agree with all of his methods when it comes to personal finance, this section in particular, I do agree with, which is his budget breakdown by percentages. And so that's what we're going to review today. When we look at our personal monthly budget, we're focusing on our total after-tax income, but before health insurance and any type of retirement contributions. And we're looking at our total expenses. Expenses meaning everything we spend any type of money on. And looking at the breakdown of where we spend money on, this will allow us to be a lot more successful in terms of how we can plan out future expenses or even future savings. This gives you the opportunity to look at your expenses as well as your income. Now, you may have different percentages. However, once we go through the breakdown of these percentages, you can compare it to where you're currently at and where you need to be in order for you to gain your financial health. So we'll start off by showing you the different categories of budget expenses and the approximate percentage you should be spending based on your income. So here are the different budget categories along with the percentages that will help you achieve your financial success. It starts off with giving at approximately 10%, savings at approximately 10%, food expense at 10%, utilities at 5%, housing at 25%, transportation at 10%, health expenses at 5%, insurance expense at 10%, recreation at 5%, and personal spending and miscellaneous items also at 10%. Now, keep in mind that these are just estimates, and so there may be certain categories where you want to decrease or increase, but it all depends on where you are in your life and what is more meaningful to you at this current time. Remember, this is Personal Finance 101. Personal meaning this is personal to you and where you are in life and your finances. So now let's dig a little deeper. We started off with giving at about 10%. Giving here is considered tithing or donating to other charitable causes. How you think about giving is just as important as how you plan your future financial successes. Tithing is simply a portion of your income that you set aside for causes that you care about. It's the impact for me. It's the loving thy neighbor, looking out for those that are in need. It's the I'm blessed enough to bless someone else for me. That's what tithing does. And that's why I make sure that I'm either tithing or giving a portion of my income to charity or different causes. Again, it's personal and totally up to you. The next category is savings at 10%. Now, this is anything related to saving for your future. That could be your retirement fund or even a sinking fund or even your emergency fund. Now, I will say that if you do have a considerable amount of debt, you'd probably want to decrease the amount that you're putting into your savings account and increase the amount that you're paying off towards your debt. And later, when your debt has been paid down, you'd probably want to try to increase the amount that you're putting aside for your savings. The food budget at 10% is a major category in a lot of our lives. If you notice, if you look at some of your debit card transactions, the amount that we tend to spend on the convenience of purchasing food outside, I'm sure it might bring up well over the 10% that we need to or should be sticking by. The food budget should include your groceries as well as any type of takeout or restaurant expenses. Because we tend to go over budget here, there are a couple tips that we can use in order to try to stay below budget in this category. Let's start off with number 1. Meal planning. Now, we've all heard of meal prepping for our physical health, but meal planning and step number 2, shopping the sales items in groceries, are great ways to cut back on your budget. When you plan your meals based on the sales in the papers, it cuts off a considerable amount on your budget rather than just going into the grocery store without a list and picking up whatever is at hand. Another tip would be to order your groceries online. I personally love to order from Walmart.com or even from Kroger online, so that once I put everything in my basket and I hit my budget, I close out. That's it, no extras. It keeps me on budget. And for those of you that still have those young kids, do not take them to the grocery store with you, because what happens is that you tend to pick up fresh and fruity, gummy bears just because they're with you, rather than sticking to the list and sticking to what's on your budget. So that's another great way to stay on task. Now, I know some people will beg to differ with this one, but organic food tends to be a little bit more expensive, even though, again, it's great for your physical health. In my opinion, pray over your non-organic food and stick to your budget. Another great idea is buying in bulk. Costco's and BJ's will also help you save in the long run. Then there's also tracking what your family actually eats. Organization in my pantry. It allows me to see whether the kids are actually consuming the things that I buy or if I'm wasting money on things that they're not even eating. And my last tip in this category is comparing my home cooked meals to my restaurant meals. I love when I buy a package of chicken and rice and my plantains and calculate the cost of that meal for a family versus going to any other type of restaurant and getting a meal for each and every one of us. The price difference is amazing, and you will definitely find savings by simply comparing those prices and knowing that it is cheaper to cook at home. The next category is utilities expense, which comes in at about 5%. This includes things such as electricity, water, cell phone, internet, cable expenses. Now here, I would say the best way to save on this is to shop around. And also take a look at some of the subscriptions that you have. They may not necessarily be needed when you're trying to pay down debt and stick to your budget. Another way we can save money here is to stop upgrading our cell phones. We do not need to upgrade every 2 years, putting ourselves in other payment agreements, monthly payment agreements to purchase a new phone. They are doing the same thing, and we don't need to pay more money for a smaller or bigger phone that continues to serve the same purpose. This next section, housing, is one of the biggest areas and probably where we can find the most savings at 25% of our total after-tax income. So some of us may want to go ahead and claim that American dream, which is buying a house. But just realize, in purchasing your own home, there are some hidden costs that you have to take into consideration. So if you decide not to purchase a house and maybe you want to rent, you can also ask yourself the question, should I have a roommate? These are questions that, when answered, you can potentially achieve some great savings. Our next category is transportation expense at about 10%, and this includes your car payment, gas, and even your car insurance. Don't forget to also include any type of public transportation and Uber rides that you may have to take. If you live in a big city, you may want to talk to your insurance company about decreasing your insurance based on the fact that you take a lot of public transportation. You may even want to ask yourself, is owning a car even worth it for you? Public transportation and Uber may suffice and may keep you within your budget. And now we have health expense at about 5%. Now this is something that's kind of hard to plan for. However, you do still want to account for it because there are things such as dentist and doctor visits, urgent care visits, as well as ER visits. If your company offers a FSA account, flex spending account, or HSA account, a health savings account, make sure you take advantage of that benefit. What it does is it allows you to take your pre-tax dollars and use that towards your health expenses. Anything that's pre-tax dollars is to your benefit. So again, this will also help you stay in your budget. I'd also like to add that this category you really don't want to skimp on. Health expenses are much more important than your budget. And as you get older, unfortunately, the percentage amount for this category may even need to be increased. Insurance expense is coming in at about 10%, and this is only including your health insurance and your life insurance. The housing insurance as well as your car insurance was included in the other categories. So here again, you just want to make sure that you shop around and try to get the best amounts that fit your budget. And in regards to life insurance, you may want to talk to a specialist. There's some people that are overinsured. Say if you're single with no children, you probably don't even need life insurance right now. And then there are many people out there that are actually underinsured. And so speaking with a specialist would really help you out in this area. This next category at 5% is for everyone except for my husband. It is the recreation expense. This is where you plan out your date nights, your family nights, and the things that you like to go out there and do. It's also a very easy way to go over budget, and so you have to be very mindful and plan out the different activities. And not all activities need to cost money, but we do like to live life to the fullest. I understand that. And that's why this does not apply to my husband. However, a great way to achieve savings in this category is to use things as Groupon for your date nights. And also check your entertainment subscriptions. Do you really need Netflix, Hulu, all the cable channels? Those are other great ways to cut back on your budget. This last category, our personal spending budget, which should be about 10% of our budget, it includes things like our hair, our nails, our clothing, everything that you really know that you need to be cutting back on. With this category, if you have an excess amount of debt, you need to wipe it out. It shouldn't even exist for you because you should be paying off your debt. It's also that emotional shopping when you're mad at the world, but the only thing that's going to help you out is to go shopping. Yep, no, none of that. No, all of that gets cut out if you have debt. If you don't have debt, girl, boy, go enjoy yourself. I do all the time, but I stay in my budget. So there you have it, a breakdown of what your budget should potentially look like. So from here, I would suggest that you look at your total after-tax income and track all of your expenses, and then try to line them up to see what kind of percentage breakdown does your budget category look like, and compare it to Dave Ramsey's budget percentage breakdown. From here, you should be able to assess what do you need to do for your personal finances and how you can better acquire your financial health. Feel free to comment below. Let me know how off you are or how on target you are. And also remember to please comment below and let me know what are the topics regarding personal finance 101 that you'd like to cover. Like I always say, thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video. Share this video with your mama and them and anybody else that needs to hear some tips or revamp their budget. And I will see you soon.